Hello, hello, and welcome to 1000 Lies. And if you remember last time, if you even watched last time, I guess it doesn't really matter, because I'm going to tell you a story now. A story that's been in our notebook that we've been wondering what has been in it for a while now. We know the stories, but it's time to see what one of those stories are. One of those stories. And we're telling it to Luce, if you remember. So, let's read what we have in here. What Ziva would love to get her hands onto. Reaching the Sun. Chapter 1. The right and the left. So foretold the tales that once upon a time there was a wolf without a past or memory who wanted to reach the sun. On the occasion that a wolf stops being useful to his pack, that wolf will become a solitary creature until the day it dies. There once was a wolf who couldn't, or didn't want to, find his own place to rest eternally. Since then, he has been wandering the land, erasing his trail with each step, always with a melodious pace, like a sad song, trying to find a glimmer of happiness. Even after leaving his footprint on more than 1,000 roads, the wolf realized he was unable to ever find happiness, for he didn't know where to look. More lost in his thoughts than on his path, he heard a great wise man exclaim that happiness came from the sun. Of course, he couldn't understand those words, nor could he ask for an explanation. Bereft of any other clues, he decided to go to the sun. It was unfortunate for the wolf that he didn't know how to get there, getting involved in a trip like no other he had ever made before. He now wondered how he could solve his dilemma. However, it didn't take long for the wolf to find a possible answer to his conundrum. He came upon a wagon of a mobile circus. There were two odd characters that appeared before the wolf, a jester and a clown. Or maybe a clown and a jester. One was fully dressed in white, the other in black. Their height difference was so apparent that it was impossible to make eye contact with them at the same time. "How are you, my friend?" "Friend, how are you?" The two noisy yet merry comedians exchanged gazes, smiles, and words as if they shared one unified mind. The wolf, confused, didn't know what to say. They weren't giving him a chance to say anything. They were too caught up in each other. All the wolf managed to ask was for their names. "Her name is right," the short black clown stated as he pointed to his partner. "His name is left," the tall white jester stated as she pointed to her partner. "Who are you?" they asked, while smiling as they both pointed at the wolf in unison. The wolf didn't hear them, or maybe chose not to. His mind was too focused on what seemed to be a hint of his mystery. Both of them looked quite unhappy, he thought, and their trade requires them to share their happiness with the world. Maybe they knew how to reach the sun, or get closer to it. Convinced by his own reasoning, the wolf quickly asked them if they knew of a way to reach that giant, flaming, shiny ball in the sky. The two opposites shrugged, surprised that the wolf would ask such a weird question. "And why would you want to go that far away?" they questioned him. "A wolf that wants to reach the sun?" Wright pondered. "Oh, now I know who you are." The clown and the jester huddled together, certain of the wolf's identity. "What was that name, Wright?" It was, I got it." Wright snapped his fingers. "It's Skull." "Why would it be that name?" Left dismissed with a jester. "Hearty, his name is Hearty." The two performers began arguing about the wolf's identity, forgetting about his presence. The canine, tired of their bickering, bared his fangs at them and asked for their attention. "He got mad, right?" said the short, black jester, gloomily pointing at the wolf. "I think we made him angry, Left," said the tall white clown, gloomily pointing to the wolf. They looked at each other and sighed in unison. Then, as if in apology, they decided to answer the wolf's question. Right stood in front of the wolf, Left behind him. The first one to speak was Right, who from that distance looked smaller than usual. "To Left's right, on the other side of the sea, you can see the sun rising." The wolf turned around. Left raised her right arm and pointed to the east. From the distance, she appeared to be even taller than before. "To Right's right, behind the mountains, you'll see the sun setting," said Left. The wolf turned around again. Right raised his arm in tangent, pointing to the west. "If you want to reach it, then you'll have to race towards Left's left," Right exclaimed. The wolf looked at Left. Left raised his left arm this time. The wolf didn't really mind running if it meant he could finally reach the sun. He wasn't the fastest in the animal kingdom. He was a wounded wolf after all, but he considered himself fast enough to surpass the pace of a calm, celestial body. "It may look slow," said Left as he turned himself around. "But it's the exact opposite," said Right as she turned around. "Because most likely it has already won," they said before shrugging in unison. The wolf felt a little confused and a little angry when Right smiled as she turned her black back to him, and Left cried as he turned his white back to him. But it was as they told him, the sun always rose from one direction and fell from another. If the wolf waited behind the mountains, he could catch it as it passed. Grateful for the help he received, the wolf said goodbye to the strangers, who had only become even more strange after speaking. Waving their hands, Right and Left asked the wolf one last question. "Which is your name, then? Skull or Hattie?" The wolf sighed as he closed his eyes and gently shook his head. "I'm just a wolf," he answered. "So be it if that's what you wish to call me." The wolf decided to go west, behind the mountains. Certain he had found the answer he had sought out, but once he arrived there, he realized that the sun kept going even further, beyond the towns. Still, he continued chasing it beyond the towns, but the sun kept running, setting little by little behind the fields. Next he ran through the fields, and when he finally thought he would be able to meet the sun as it was setting, he found that it went even further beyond past the sea. From the shore, the wolf was unable to do anything. He felt powerless for being unable to reach the sun. Tired, he laid down on the sand, his pride crushed after discovering that the jester and the clown were right. He couldn't win against the slow sun in a race. His target had disappeared, giving away to the night, leaving only the wind and the darkness as the wolf's companions. The wolf had to seek shelter before it got too dark outside, but he was tired and in pain. He could barely move at all, and time was running short. He wondered what he could do. Everything was the sun's fault for deceiving him and running away like that. Those two silly tricksters were also at fault for not warning him beforehand. How could the sun bring happiness like this? Something so deceptive couldn't bring any joy. Night came, and the wolf expected the worst as he closed his eyes, fearing any danger. But none ever came. After opening his eyes, he could see the beach perfectly illuminated by a cold and beautiful silver cloak. It was the moon. It had listened and answered the wolf's prayer, offering to him the shimmering help he had needed. The wolf was grateful, but the moon was so far away, it was difficult for her to hear the wolf. So he filled his lungs and raised his head in determination. And a resounding howl covered the sea and the skies with a feeling of gratitude. So foretold the tales that once upon a time there was a wolf without a past or memory, who wanted to reach the sun. Thousand Lies. Chapter 3. Oh. Hey, Oz. How you going? That was a nice story. That was a very nice story. It got me. I wasn't really thinking about the end goal, so it got me when the wolf howled. You caught me by surprise. Okay, well. Back to the silliness. That was a nice little interlude of fun times, but now, Oz. Oz. How you going, Oz? Gotta admit it. Gotta admit your guilt. Oz tries to blind me with the light of his cell phone, as if he's interrogating me. I believe I take his cell phone and rip off his entire hand with a single bite, but I instead opt to control my cannibalistic instincts. Proof doesn't lie. You lied to us about what happened on day. Oh, did So I won't accept any of your pitiful excuses. What did you do with my sexy Fleminica Dialis yesterday? I'm totally in favor of you using Roman titles if you're consistent about it, but that girl has her own name. I won't deny that a lot of things happened, but I have to keep it a secret. Not everything that happens was even legal. Compenero! You could get her pregnant. Wrap it up. Is that all you think about? Alright, that's impossible. It's you we're talking about here. And if I'm involved in it, then you have no chance whatsoever. At least not until after I scar. Someday, we'll have to work on that mental image of me you've created. So what now? What's the story going to go on to? Classes end for another day. Oz and I leave the school together, although he falls behind a bit as he says goodbye to a few of his friends. I wouldn't mind telling Oz the truth, but I'd have to tell him everything that happened, or else I'd have him thinking that I assaulted people. The problem is Luce. She made me promise that I wouldn't tell anyone about her hobby or our new partnership in general, and that, yes, I accepted her reasonable deal in the end. We made that bet during the basketball match, so now I have to deal with it. What I'm not really convinced about is whether or not it's possible to hide the existence of our new meeting at the library. What am I even thinking? It's not like I actually care if anyone finds out. I'll do my part and I won't snitch. But if someone gets suspicious, I can't stop them. Earlier, Ziva said something about going to make-up committee meetings. The one for the grad and prom stuff. Since the meeting yesterday didn't turn out so well. Oz catches up with me after he says his goodbyes to his friends, but the vibration of his cell phone makes him pause for a second. He excuses himself as he slides his thumb over the screen and discovers an enormous unwelcome surprise. Not again, CR! I lean my hand towards my friend, feigning indifference despite having a terrible hunch about what it may be. You couldn't possibly still be logged into my email account. This time, I'll admit, I left it logged in on purpose. After what happened last time, I wanted to know if it happened again. It did. Oz tries to show me the screen, but instead I grab it from him directly and peer at the screen. Yes, there it is. Sent only a few moments ago. Another email from a mysterious sender. From Harry H. To Sierra Nendine. Subject. Not for everyone. Can you accept a fake reality? There's no going back after the first step, nor can taking what was lost be considered winning. If after knowing the truth you still wish to be sincere, be careful, because that will make you the greatest liar. Until forever, and good luck with the first consequence. Now you gotta remember, we're getting emails from this person because they took our figurine from the post. And this is such a stupid thing. I stand still, completely paralyzed. Finally, Oz says what I've been thinking after he reads the content of the email. What? That's what I'm wondering. What's the meaning of this? This email is slightly different from the other two. This time it says, until forever. Does that mean this is going to be the last email? I guess so. I just wanted my figurine. Yeah, but the first sentence clearly states that you can't take back what you lost, nor are you able to undo anything. Whoever sent this is making fun of me, saying that I'll never see her. My girlfriend, I'll be coming for you. And what's the rest supposed to mean? If you're sincere, then you'll become the greatest liar. Isn't that contradictory? The ends of the emails up till now were the same. I don't know if I should be angry or happy that there won't be more. All I really know is that I won't take the bait ever again. Are you sure about that? The mystery remains unsolved, without any clues or hope. Maybe I should forget about all of it. I've already gone enough to deal with it. I have to meet with Luce in the library this afternoon again. Thinking of which, I still have a few hours until it's time to meet up. There's still time, but since it's my secret base anyway, I'm not going to stop using it because there's a new squatter there. I decide to head to the library early. It isn't that easy though. Once I reach the park, I run into someone who stops me in my tracks. I think the best part of going to the library is taking a short stroll around the pond. Right, it's so nice. I've been waiting here for you for a couple of days. What have you been doing? A quiet stroll, with no one to disturb me. Completely alone, walking through nature, with only the song of leaves dancing above the pond. How many poets have showcased such tender moments in the lyrics of their love letters? Say, Alan, can't you see me? He has gone blind. That means that I'm invisible to him right now. This is a great discovery. I can't miss out on this opportunity. Stop! It was a joke. Stop tickling me. Stop it, Claire. I love reading these two dialogues, but I hate it as well, because what I look for is the first letter of the names, and they both start with C, so I always have to double look whether or not I'm reading Claire's or Ciaran's. But boy, is it fun to do these dialogues with them. Okay. It's a miracle! I've cured Ciaran and now he can see me. These hands have been blessed with supernatural powers, and I didn't know it. Blind people can also be ticklish, idiot. And my eyes are perfectly fine, except for myopia. But that's another story. And why do you think they're fine now? Unless you forgot about me. I've already told you that it was a joke. Really? Claire's sudden appearance doesn't surprise me. I even kind of expect her to be here. Maybe this girl's craziness is a good way for me to forget about reality. Her carefree attitude seems to make the real world melt away. Tell me something, Ciaran. Did you forget about me? Would you forget about me if we never met again? Hiding under a hat in embarrassment, Claire asked me a very weird question. She looks worried to hear my answer, so much that it's perplexing. Look, I may forget someone, but not you. I couldn't forget about someone as peculiar as you that easily. You can't simply erase a big weirdo from your memory, wouldn't you say? I see. Claire sighs discouragingly. Isn't the reaction I was expecting from her. My intentions was opposite. But she immediately comes back to her senses and returns to her usual Claire. I've already decided anyways. Next time, don't make me wait so long. I've always worried that you were dead or something like that. You aren't totally wrong about that. I have faced death a couple of times. Could it be that you're a ghost and you're already dead? That would explain why you couldn't see me earlier. We've already been over that. Just let it go, please. Our conversation resembles a comedian's routine. Talking with Claire, I discover that we have more in common than just our love for the pond. Oddly enough, I'm not annoyed by our accidental meeting. We met not too long ago, so to speak, and even if it was shocking at first, now it's pretty much the opposite. She's definitely insane, yes, but it's one of those comedic instances, compared to the cruel satire that the universe frequently throws around anyway. I see, you're depressed. Where's the confidence that's the yarn that I know? The one who likes to flip off innocent clouds. I'd prefer to inform you that such a Ciara never existed, but I guess you aren't that far off. Let me guess, you're upset about your plans going awry. Something about or someone in your life has disrupted your normal pleasant peace. That's not too big of a foot, but since you're generalizing, yes. Don't play hard again. I can read you like an open book. See, Alan, you can't deceive me. Don't you have the answer book right there? It could be pretty useful. Maybe. Let's go for a walk. And you can bring me up to date. One shouldn't trust strangers, but sometimes it's precisely with strangers to whom you can speak the most freely since you aren't restrained by social ties. Nevertheless, when I speak with Claire, I don't feel like I'm talking to a stranger. She feels more like a lifelong friend to me. So I tell her about my troubles, if I can even call them that, as we take a stroll out to the park. Following her pace, I start vaguely describing all of the events that had transpired within this week. The weird emails at first. Those were the first straw, and then about all the other contributions that came after that. I skip everything that I think is better not to mention, especially things related to Luce, since I promised that I wouldn't tell anyone. And in this fashion, we walk around town together as I divulge all of the details of my disastrous life to her. Ugh, the mole. When I'm done with my complaints, we've reached that appears to be our destination. On the main avenue, you can find a shopping mall with a few random stores, like a supermarket, restaurant, and even a movie theater. It's nothing special, but we don't have anywhere else to go in this small town. Now that I think about it, I used to go to the underground arcade a lot. I wonder if it's still here. Claire was surprisingly attentive and quiet all the way there. She had this mature demeanor, and that contrasted with her previous behavior. It made me wonder if she had swapped places with a twin I wasn't aware of or something. That thumbnail I made a while ago may not be too far from the truth. But all of my doubts are dispelled the next time that she opens her mouth. Oh. I only listened to half of what you said because it was boring, Sian. Learn to summarize. Next time, try to fit it into 140 characters or less. You could at least pretend. The seas. You could at least pretend that you're interested. I don't know why I even bother. I forget that you don't have that thing called common sense. I should look at their last names. I didn't stop listening because it was uninteresting. It was because the answer to your worries is so simple that it's hilarious. What? Do you have the solution? I would love to hear it, since I don't even know what triggered those emails in the first place, you know? I mean, you usually piss someone off, and that's how you make enemies, but this time, at first, I thought it was all some kind of prank. But now I'm not so sure whether. Hey, listen, what are you doing? Ignoring my complaints, Claire fixates her attention on a store display window. Clothes, shoes, and all kinds of other feminine accessories are displayed. It's truly a temple for fashion trends followers. Big corporations win once again when it comes to catching people's attention. Good job, designers, for making my world fall on deaf ears. This is the last time I try to reason with Claire, and also the last time I try to defeat a cute pair of shoes. If you're so interested in that store, why don't you go in? It's not like I was saying anything important. Claire staggers a little, biting her lip before replying to my subtle insinuation. It's not like I'm that interested. It's just that I usually come alone, and it's different if well. Claire gently falls on her knees as she speaks. It almost looks like she's dying from sadness. I shouldn't spoil her after what she did, but I'm not the kind of person who gets angry over this kind of thing. It's easier to let go. Everyone is happier that way. We can go inside if you like. I'm not embarrassed to go with you, if that's what you're worried about. In the end, I'm pretty sure that anything that'll fit you are the kids department. I was kidding. Don't be like that. Claire starts punching the floor as she turns her face away from me. Don't tell me that I was right. Boo. She crawls away, now appearing to be completely lifeless. I guess that would be true. Ah, did I hit a nerve? The clothes really are from the kids section. At your age? Wow. You know, there are some kids' clothes that I wouldn't mind wearing. Just the logos they have. Sometimes they're nice. They're nice. But then there's just more for me. I try to keep shaming her for as long as possible. Wow, I think I hit a nerve. Let's keep poking. But not as much as I would have liked to, since Claire seemed to forget about it once she sees another display. From then on, she takes me from place to place. She never buys anything, but gets interested often, which I can't understand since she doesn't plan on buying any of it. Look, Xian! Let's go here next! She gets excited over the smallest of things and talks like it's the first time she's ever seen them. Look, Xian! There's a creepy guy over here! Her constant shouting over everything makes me worry about the people around us. They've started to staring at us. They've started staring at us and crowding around. Look, Xian! He's a thief! He's stealing something! She goes running after the criminal without even letting me open my mouth to speak. Look, Xian! Suplex! Oh! She did suplex the criminal. I clear my throat to get Claire's attention, but it doesn't seem to work, and she continues on doing her thing after slamming the alleged robber against the tile floor. She did. Look, Xian! I caught a thief! I'm sure they're going to present me with the key to the town for this. I'd like to thank everyone who helped me to get this reward. Xian for bringing me here, the thief for letting himself get caught, the guy manning the spotlight who came out of nowhere, and the keysmith for this key. The keysmith? The guy who makes the keys. That's the locksmith. Don't be a fool. That's his nemesis. In any case, thanks to all of you for coming here. I hope to see you again during the Emmys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Claire ends her speech by clapping and manages to infect me with her enthusiasm, which causes me to join in. Bravo, bravo! Do you even know what we're doing, Claire? If you end a speech on a high note and clap, people will cheer for you no matter how terrible it was. Give it a try. Good to know, but I wasn't actually referring to the fact that your thief is just a mannequin, and the entire shopping mall is staring at us now. They were cleaning the display, see? There was no theft in progress. Claire looks around and realizes how confusedly the crowd around us is whispering about the show she just performed. Ah! Why didn't you tell me sooner? I tried at first, but after a while, I wanted to see how long it'd take you to realize on your own. Claire tries to hide under the brim of a hat, and she pushes herself to stand behind me, embarrassed. Meanwhile, not too far away, I can see some onlookers calling out to a stocky security guard and pointing in our direction. I now know that I have to quickly come up with an escape plan. Thank you everybody for attending the annual rubberly drill at the mall. What happened here is exactly what you shouldn't do. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's meet again next year. A round of applause, please. The crowd infectiously begins to clap, even though they're unconvinced. Still, it's enough for me to grab Claire's hand and get away from the crime scene just in time. In the end, it's true that clapping will spread from one to another if you do it correctly. Wow, nice. We reach the last floor and I peep out from the edge of the catwalk to confirm that no one is following us, especially that stocky guard from before. For some reason, he looks familiar. He looks familiar. Nah, couldn't be. Regardless, I managed to remain calm. I'm used to pulling pranks with Oz, although I usually let him take the spotlight instead. First and foremost, I don't like taking the lead, and from what I've seen, Claire doesn't either. They're gone, Sian. Yes, but don't worry. I'll make sure to remind you about this incident periodically, so that I can shame you for it. Don't joke about that. I'm not. I laugh at Claire's expense. Even though she grabbed the brim of a hat with both of her hands, I can still see a slight smile on her blushing face. I don't usually do these things, you know. You're a bad influence. I got carried away because of you. I noticed. That speech about the key to the town would have been better written if it wasn't the first time you gave it. Couldn't you come up with anything better to give thanks to? Although I'm only mocking her, this time Claire's laugh is forced. She evades my eyes and refuses to give me a clear answer. It reminds me of what she said back at the first store we went to, and I start wondering if I should be more careful about talking about friendship around her. In any case, it would be best to go somewhere else, and avoid drawing any more attention to us. There may be more guards looking for us. And where can we go? I scratch my chin thoughtfully, and look at my surroundings until I notice the billboard for the movie theatre. It opened for the first session of the afternoon right now. I don't say anything, but Claire still seems to notice what I'm thinking. Do you want to go in? There's a movie playing that I want to watch, so I'm not opposed to the idea. While discussing it with Claire, she also seems to be interested. It's been in the theatres for a while. It shouldn't be long before they take it out. If we want to watch it, it's now or never. But Claire's already buying the tickets before I can finish my sentence. I didn't tell her whether or not I wanted to go now, but she doesn't seem to care. No refunds are allowed, and I still have some time before I need to go to the library. All in all, I decided to shrug it off and go along with the plan of action. Okay, what movie what is it called? Come on, tell us a name that isn't that exact name, but is the name. We arrive at the movie theater, find our seats, and the movie starts. It's a Michael Bay film. Explosions. I get the feeling that I missed something pretty simple. It takes me a while, but it's when the projector lights up the screen that I realize what it is. There's nobody else in the theater. We're completely alone in this giant, dark room. She and I. Looking at her, she doesn't give off any vibes of being bothered by the situation. I, however, can't stop thinking about it. I mean, why would you be bothered by it? It's not like you go in there to see other people. First, I'm not stupid. I know what it means for a boy and girl to alone together in this kind of situation. What, being friends? It may only be because of Claire's unique, carefree and direct personality that she's like this, but the memory of her confession from that time is still vivid in my mind. I guess. She dismisses the idea afterwards, and that made me believe that she was just kidding around. But it doesn't change the fact that it did happen. I admit that Claire is cute in her own way, and she even said that I'm not too bad myself. Oh, wait, no. That was after saying that I'm ugly, I think. What's going on in this girl's head? Could I use this chance to, for example, hold her hand? Oh, no, I couldn't. It's normal at the movies, right? Oh, did she bring me here because of that? It's not like she looks up to the task, and I don't have any reason to do it. Hey, Sian! I gulp in surprise when Claire interrupts my train of thought, whispering with her lips hovering close to my ear. Now would be a good moment for you to feel me up. What? Hey! No. I jump from my seat and run to the next room before Claire finishes talking. I try to slow my breathing and retrieve my heart, which should be lying on the floor somewhere, before returning to Claire to demand an explanation. What are you saying? Why? Why do we need to go so fast? I mean, I was only thinking about holding your hands at first. At most. Seriously? I was teasing you. But I guess I could show you that not everything I wear is from the kids section. I want to die. Have my body burned, such that of me nothing of me remains. Do you want to hold hands anyway? Now that you suggest it. I face Claire, her eyes showing a genuine curiosity towards my thoughts and actions. I remain still, unable to do so much as think clearly about it. It takes some time, but my hand slowly moves away from my chair arm and gets closer to hers. Oh no, you wouldn't dare. If only for a couple of seconds, but I'm doubtful. And when I finally get close, Claire moves her hand away. Time's up, Sian. I've already told you I won't accept any of your half-baked answers. After all, to me, the most important thing is that you're truthful. She repeats the same words that she said back at the pond. Then she smiles and returns her gaze to the movie screen. Truthful. What did that have to do with anything about being truthful? I wanted to hold her hand. What's the problem with that? Is it somehow wrong? I only wanted... What did I want to hold her hand anyway? Movie is over sometime later, and we go back into the shopping mall. I look at the floor, then at the ceiling, then at the floor, then at the ceiling, then at the wall, then at the ceiling, then at the floor, then at the ceiling. Huh? I look everywhere except towards her. I couldn't enjoy the movie after everything that had happened. Maybe next time I should come alone. It was her who brought the tickets without asking, and I just followed along without thinking about it first. You ever been to a movie alone? I done it once. It was weird. It was enjoyable, but weird. By the way, I should pay her back for my ticket. It's not okay to leave it like this. And it might break the ice after all that. Hey, Claire, how much do I owe you? When I turn around as I take my wallet, I can see Claire making her way towards the hallway that leads to the washroom. I follow her around, but I'm mistaken and realize that it wasn't the washroom that she was looking for. Instead, the entrance to metallic stairs that lead outside the building is open. There's a sign that clearly states that only authorized personnel can go up there. That doesn't seem to matter to Claire. And up there on the rooftop, I find her looking out at the entire town. Excuse me? A nice picture. I'm in the way of this picture, aren't I? Let's put me over here. You know what? No, let's leave me here and get rid of me. Poof. I feel like this is going to be a touching moment. Because frankly, they haven't thrown art at me like this before. Okay. I go close to the edge by her side, questioning in a whisper why she would want to come up here. Claire, however, doesn't move. She lowers her head and holds her hat so that the wind doesn't blow it away, even though it looks like she herself could be stolen away by the wind at any moment. See, Alan, this question might be old by now, but tell me, have you ever wondered, after watching a movie, if everyone around you are nothing more than actors? Everything's a big lie, with you in the center as the main character. I remain silent. Yeah, of course. I've thought about it. Everyone has wondered that at some point in their lives. But it's the sad undertone that worries me. There's an odd melancholy flooding the roof, and even onto the beautiful view. When this subject comes to light, everyone is always horrified, scared of being manipulated or deceived. I, on the other hand, think that life would be easier if it was all a farce. I wouldn't have to worry about disappointing or hurting anyone. They'd only be paid to act that way. I wouldn't have to worry about the future. I could always have fun without worrying about the consequences. everyone would make sure that I get home safe and sound, finishing the episode until the next time that the camera starts shooting again. Who cares if they're fake, or if they're hired to do it? Is it really any different from how I'm living now? I can't know what anyone else is thinking. I don't know who is lying or not, no matter how hard they swear upon their actions. From the point of view, isn't a paid kindness the same as unknown kindness that I receive now? The difference is that no matter what I do, I wouldn't feel bad for bothering anyone. On the contrary, only by leaving this world can I be sure that no one is suffering at my expense. Claire plays with her skirt as it floats at irregular intervals within the wind. Nervously, she brushes the roof with the tip of one of her shoes. I guess that depends on the person, doesn't it? She looks at me, stops curling her skirt and her fingers when I give them my reply. It depends, because you could make someone unhappy by not being close to them. Wouldn't it be a pity to distance yourself from someone thinking you're hurting them when it's actually the opposite? Claire answers with a bashful smile, looking back towards the town. And if no one can be happy with you, Sian? I lower my shoulders as I sigh before speaking. In that case, there's nothing you can do, but you should verify it, if it's true first, and along the way, you may even find someone who truly loves you for who you are. It's something that you can't really be sure of, no matter what, because there's always the possibility that it really is all just a movie, like you said before. We can't change how others feel about us, but we can change how we ourselves feel. If we know something deep down, then does it actually matter whether or not it's an act? Claire's smile grows, eventually to the point that it evolves into laughter, and she tries to cover her mouth with the palms of both of her hands. Her small body shrinks a little as she laughs, her clothes blowing in the wind on the rooftop, from where I can see the entire world, making her seem even more charming than ever before. Meanwhile, it must sound completely ridiculous, after giving such a corny speech. What do you think, Sian? Is that enough of an answer for you? I doubt Claire's question. Answer? What is she talking about? It's true. Claire told me before we came on here that she had the answer to my problems. I was wondering who sent me those emails, the meaning behind them. But that's something I will never know, because ultimately their motives is irrelevant. What really matters is what I've learned from all this. It may have started with those emails, but all of the decisions from then on were my own. It doesn't matter if it was due to anyone else that I went to one place or another. I couldn't have always ignored them and gone home instead. Isn't it more important to be truthful to my decisions and Isn't it more important to be truthful to my decisions and own them with pride? I understand now. This is what Claire wanted to say, but she decided to show me firsthand instead. Of course it is, Claire. Thank you for everything. She rests her arms atop of the border fence on the rooftop, shaking her head at me. No, Sian, thank you. I'm especially grateful for this moment, for this day. To tell you the truth, this was my first date in forever. I hope that you don't mind me bringing you here like this, without even asking. I close my eyes and smirk. She's able to say the most daring things with all the spontaneity. She's able to say the most daring things with all the spontaneity in the world. It was fun, Claire. Don't worry about it too much. Although I tried to please her with my words, she doesn't seem convinced. What can I do as a thank you? What is this girl missing that only I can give her? Hey, Claire. You said before that you study at the other side, right? I mean, Anate. She nods. They forced me to join the committee to organize the grad events, and well, you don't have to accept if you don't want to, but would you like to join? The more people there are, the easier it'll be. I get the feeling you'd like to meet people, and they aren't bad people. Except Siva, she's a witch. Claire's eyes open widely. I can join. You don't think I'll get in the way? I confidently place my hand on her shoulders. Oz is an idiot, and he's already on the team, so you couldn't possibly do worse than him. Also, it's not that serious. You can come just to talk. I can introduce you to the others, and we can hang out afterwards. Whatever you want. Claire takes a few steps back, moving away from me. With one hand, she prevents her hat from flying away. With the other, she nervously plays with her skirt fabric. Alright, Ciara, I'll go there. Don't regret it later. You know how much I despise half-baked answers. Regret it? I don't think so. What could go wrong, Claire? After the mistakes I made over those emails, I don't think there are many things that could go worse. And like you told me before, you shouldn't worry so much. She crosses her arms and raises an eyebrow. Did I say that? I don't understand what she's asking me that. Well, that's what you implied before, right? You know, the answer to my problems that you knew before we came here, that how the important thing is how I feel. Claire bows her head doubtfully. Not like that. I told you not to worry about those emails because I was the sender. A strong wind blows against us. Claire's hat to fly, causing Claire's hat to fly away, and I instinctively follow it with my eyes. It falls little by little, swaying like a piece of paper, towards the streets below us. When I turn my gaze back towards Claire, to the girl whom I've been talking to this entire time, she's not there. Ha! But I am. My. I mean, I suppose it had to be someone that we already knew. They would have to introduce the character beforehand. So that it's, you know, a greater surprise. Oh well, how nice. You know, now we can get back our figurine, so that's great. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna stop it there because over half an hour, which is what I try to aim for these videos. So goodbye. I like a conundrum we've gotten ourselves into. What a nice first date. I still don't know what movie we watched. Action, romance, thriller. Who knows?